As the U.S. Open comes to Pine Needles for the fourth time since 1996, there will be something missing. A presence and a spirit often referred to as
extremely significant.
Pioneer.
Trailblazer.
The most passionate person I ever met.
Humble.
Genuine.
The female Arnold Palmer.
She's just awesome.
Peggy Kirk was born in Findlay, Ohio. A natural athlete, she excelled at most mainstream sports. But she didn't find golf until she was in her late teens.
My mom says, I want to try this golf. So she goes out 15 minutes and she comes into the pro shop and she goes, I've lost all 3 of my balls and I didn't even make it to the end of the hole. She didn't know it was called a green. And the pro said, do you really want to learn this game? And she goes, well, yeah.
In spite of the inauspicious start, Peggy Kirk figured it out.
She won 3 state championships after that.
In 1949, she won the North and South. That same year, she won the title holders at Augusta Country Club. It was one of their 4 majors at the time.
This is the Golf Union of Ireland scarf that she had when she was in a Curtis Cup. They were given this scarf. One of my favorite, but it matched my outfit today.
Playing for the United States Curtis Cup, to me, was the biggest thing in my life at the time.
As her career and schedule were taking off, Peggy Kirk learned to fly.
She had this infectious, wonderful, larger-than-life approach to the game. She was kind of the every woman of golf, just like Arnold was the every man of golf.
Her and Artie became great friends just because of their love of flying.
I didn't like driving across the country, and so I got an airplane.
Can you imagine flying your own airplane in the late 50s and early 60s?
Not surprisingly, she was also one of the original female professionals.
She's not listed as one of the founders of the LPGA, but she was right there, and she, within I think a year, joined. So she really is the extra founding mother of the LPGA Tour.
In addition to the LPGA, Peggy Kirk found Warren "Bullet" Bell, also from Findlay, Ohio, who played professional basketball for the Fort Wayne Pistons.
Mom was in town and drove up to a stop sign in a convertible. My dad happened to be standing on the corner and recognized her and said, hey, Peg Kirk, I hear you're a hot-shot golfer. Why don't we play and whoever loses has to buy dinner? Of course, Mom beat him, but it was a sure date regardless.
He wrote her a letter and said, I know if I buy you a golf course, you'll marry me. So that's how they ended up here, and we're thrilled because we love this area.
As Peggy and Bullet shaped their newly acquired golf course into what Pine Needles is today, they also fostered friendships with some of the biggest names in the game.
Patty Berg was my godmother. Babe Dieterson-Zaharias was Bonnie's.
When I was born, Babe comes to the hospital, and Mom's laying in the bed with me and Babe, and she signed a beautiful picture, I hope you're as fine a woman as your mother.
And as the family was growing, so too was the Bell's business. In the early 60s, Peggy Kirk Bell created her Golfaris, an instruction getaway designed by a woman for women.
There's no singular female who's brought golf to newcomers and women more than Peggy.
With an emphasis on fun, and over the course of 6 decades, Peggy Kirk Bell taught over 20,000 women to play golf, and she established a girls' golf tour.
She could help you in about 30 seconds. She would walk around and give you a lesson all day long.
Back and through. See how close my elbows stay together?
Although the Hall of Fame instructor left her mark on countless people and players, she wasn't just doing it as a teacher. She was a tournament host. After being the venue for elite juniors and seniors, it was Judy Bell of the USGA, no relation, who awarded Peggy Kirk Bell the first of many major championships.
You know, anytime you host a United States Golf Association event, it's a great honor and thrill for us.
Pine Needles hosted the Women's U.S. Open in 1996.
To be able to play the U.S. Open there, it was just the coolest memory to have.
Back-to-back championships, Veronica Sorenstein.
In 2001,
Another back-to-back champion, Ari Webb.
and again in 2007.
And Christy Kerr has her major championship.
And now the U.S. Women's Open returns to Pine Needles for a record-setting 4th time. The finest field of female golfers in the world playing for the largest purse in the history of women's golf. It's through these major championships and the ongoing development of her resort that, like the root systems of all those pines, Peggy Kirk Bell's legacy continues to get deeper and more everlasting.
I was approached about maybe purchasing mid-pines. And I said, Peg, what do you think? She says, oh, we got to get that. I love mid-pines. One Christmas, for my Christmas gift, I opened this thing and here was this lamp from the 50s. She says, you got to figure out a way to do it. To this day, that lamp sits in my office and it's on 24/7, and I think of Peg all the time.
The Bell family purchased mid-pines in 1994, Southern Pines in 2020, and since then, all three courses have been restored to something a lot closer to what Donald Ross originally designed. And this year, although she won't be there for the U.S. Women's Open, like that sweet-smelling breeze, Peggy Kirk Bell will be whipping through the trees.
A couple of months before she passed away, I put her in a cart. And I drove around the property at Pine Needles. I said, look at everything you and Dad did. I just want her to know how much we appreciate the life we'd grown up with. And I thanked her for everything that she had done. And she just smiled.
You're proud that you're her daughter, but I'm no Peggy Kirk Bell. I don't think there's going to be anybody else like her.